Sweet Baby Inc. is a studio killer, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a developer, please stay away from them. There's a game that just came out called Capes that it was found out very shortly after it came out that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved. In fact, their logo and literally all their major employees were credited as having been consultants on this game. It wasn't advertised before. It wasn't even listed on Sweet Baby Inc.'s website that they were involved with Capes. But you can see all of the big players are here. Chris Kindred is here, right? That lunatic. Well, Capes is like a superhero game, but you can look at the character models. You can look at the influence. This just has DEI checklist written all over it. Every character is some kind of form of diversity to the point where it's just absolute cringe. And we've seen how bad Sweet Baby Inc. being involved with companies can do to them. It literally has shut down studios, and now it looks like we're having another studio facing an array of problems. So after this credit scene was discovered, Cabrutus Rambo actually added them to Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, which is the Steam curator list that shows all the games that have had influence by Sweet Baby Inc. And the rest is history. The rest is freaking history right here. People are calling it Sweet Baby Stink. Bugen says, Step 1, see Cabrutus recommends against a game. Step 2, open Steam and ignore that game. Step 3, read the details. You've earned our trust, dude. Good looking out. So literally just a nail in the coffin. People saying add another game to add to the list. The character on the right exists in the game as a hero as well. The list of shame keeps growing. You've earned our respect, bro. Let's ignore that. So, yeah, it's literally a nail in the coffin if you have Sweet Baby Inc. attached to your game. And they've gotten so much issues with it that the actual developer, who's by the name of Penta, had to make a statement and actually was kind of condescending and a little sassy towards this, which you don't want to do that, guys. If you're a developer, yes, criticism is hard to take. Even as a YouTuber, sometimes I'm guilty of being a little sassy in my tone or a little bit defensive. It's understandable, but this is just a nail in the coffin. If these guys want to continue to develop games, they're already coming across as not really enjoying their consumers. I'm not making video games, so you know, I'm going to critique this as much as I can, but let's look at what they said. They said, you're a little late, actually. We've already had 3 months and 14 pages of constructive discussion about DEI in the forum and delivered a gameplay update focusing on exactly what the player base wanted, leading to 80% positive recent reviews. So I guess this is in response to recent criticism when it was discovered after Cabrutus posted that Sweet Baby Inc. was involved. They're saying, oh, you're late to it. We've already had this discussion for 3 months. You don't want to come across as defensive, all right? That doesn't look good, especially when you consider everything that Sweet Baby Inc. has done within the last several months, from trying to extort companies like Black Myth Wukong's developer, having hit pieces written on games that don't comply. You've seen the Alyssa Mercante situation and Chris Kindred, where they just acted completely unprofessional. They've contacted workplaces and wives of people who are harsh critics of Sweet Baby Inc. influenced games. They're more than just about putting diversity in games, guys. These people want to control a complete narrative, and that's why it's backfiring so much. And that's why I guess companies like like this one that made Capes don't want to have any kind of Sweet Baby stink on top of them. But at this point, it's too late, and they're backed into a corner. So he continues on saying, you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually read upon it yourselves. Leaves the link and says, but we were already able to explain that Sweet Baby Inc. only worked briefly, mainly to bring the 4 to 5 people, strong indie dev team in contact with fitting voice actors, together with the devs 2+ years ago. So apparently it was only a handful of them that brought voice actors that they recommended. So I guess they do more than just consult on DEI checklist box. I guess they have their favorites that they hire. They have their friends so that they're diverse. They're literally DEI hires to be voice actors in these games, guys. Interesting. And they're putting it off saying this was 2 years ago. And many first skeptical players were able to find out that there is no hidden agenda or something else we force down your throat. So they're mocking the saying that we say the woke agenda is being shoved down our throats. So he's literally being sassy. or other concerns they had besides a well-rounded, diverse cast, obviously. So why don't we just focus on the most important question, he says, that the OP was mentioned in already. Is Capes fun? And this is exactly why I brought up the positive reactions towards our most recent update. We think you would enjoy it if you gave it a chance. So I think, he could have did without the sass, could have did without the, oh, you're already late. He probably could have just said, yeah, we worked on this project with them 2 years ago. They handled the voice acting, and we think that it's a fun. We listen to the comments. We listen to that. They could have been a little bit more tactful in their respond. This ain't going to go well for them. In fact, you could see the reviews are mixed now. This ain't 80% positive anymore because they have that stench. Plus, when you down talk your consumers, it's going to backfire on you. And sadly enough, this game looks like it might have had potential, right? All DEI bullshit aside, looks like it had potential. But when you start to get that stink on you, when you start to be defensive, when you have this angry tone, you're backed into a corner, it backfires every time. Again, I'm guilty of it. It's just this thing that we're humans. It's understandable. Now, I've seen people say maybe we should not be so hard on these people, but I'll get to that in a minute because they changed their tune. They actually put an update, and this is quite wordy right here. So this is called a conclusive statement about Sweet Baby Inc. They said there have been some questions coming up and some misconceptions being repeated that we would like to clear up. The developer said, first off, I'm not a developer at Spitfire Interactive, but community strategist over at the publisher Daedalic Entertainment. Steam just shows anyone with administrative access as a developer. So I guess since it says developer next to his name, that's something that Steam does. He probably should have clarified that as well instead of speaking on behalf of the whole entire company. Now he's having to explain himself, and that looks bad as well. Why are 12 people listed when they didn't do more work on the game than connecting with voice actors? It is an industry norm that if you contract a company, you credit the whole company, or at least that they tell you who they want listed in your credits. If we really would have wanted to hide something, we wouldn't have put SBI into the credits at all, nor would we have already been talking in the Steam forums about it during the last 3 months after release. Again, something's fishy here because Sweet Baby Inc. didn't advertise that they were involved with it. They haven't even updated their website because every game that people find out is stenched with their logo fails. Why did you still work together with them after all they said? The devs collaborated with Sweet Baby Inc. in early 2022. We are aware of the statements being done by individuals connected to Sweet Baby Inc. in the years to come, but in 2022, there was no sign of that. It is likely that the decision would have been a different one in 2024. So they're saying right there that they wouldn't work with them in the future, which is kind of interesting. It's so weird that this whole statement is like damage control in regards to them being put on the list. They're even denouncing. Is this cracks in the woke agenda? Is the woke narrative cracking? Now people are like, hey, it's not worth working with Sweet Baby Inc. Is the backlash that strong to where they're saying it's different and now they're a little bit more hostile? That's what it sounds like to me. Now, this last part says you have to learn that as a company, bringing games to an international audience, we take the term inclusivity and equality literal. We don't condone hate towards any type of group. This includes among POCs, LGBTQ+, and others. White male gamers as well. Sweet Baby Inc. is not going to like that. It is sad that we actually have to word it out. It should be a given. We're all gamers, no matter who we are. If a diverse cast of heroes makes you not want to play capes, that's your decision, but we are surely not the enemy. At least we don't see you as one for making this decision. But at the moment, some, not all, of you are actively trying to harm a small indie dev studio to teach them a lesson that they never really needed to learn. So I could see it. Hey guys, you're picking on a small indie studio that just had them involved from 2022, and we don't see white. They came out and said it. They don't hate white gamers. They want everybody to be treated fairly, which is a fair and good stance, which is all what true diversity really is. And then you get idiots like Sweet Baby Inc. coming in with their employees literally hating white people. Look at their vicious, toxic tweets and stuff. So they're denouncing it. which is interesting enough. And they have already said they're never going to work with them. Now, do they deserve the hate and the backlash? I don't know, man. Looking at their previous response, this seemed a little bit defensive, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think if this guy doesn't represent the company as a head or an executive, he probably should have shut the fuck up. If I'm going to be completely honest, he probably should have shut the fuck up. But these community strategists, they all run their mouths, no matter who they work for. That's the fucking problem. They're all like the keyboard warrior type of people. Now, somebody did do a banger reply to this. This is extremely wordy, so bear with me on it, and we'll take a look at it. But they said, nobody's actively trying to harm anyone. This is a response to the guy. We are voicing our opinions as potential customers. We're the ones they are trying to sell a product to, and we have to watch over product after another, one product after another being ruined for the sake of diversity and inclusion. We have to listen to people like Sweet Baby Inc. and all types of game journalists insult us and gaslight us, telling us we're racist for rejecting their political slop, and they openly brag about it being just that. I'm not going to link to Larry Fink or Kim Belair saying it outright. We've all seen it. And that's right. We are the ones that get gaslit by the Mercantes, the Kindreds, the Kotakus of the world. They call us bigots. They call us racist when we have a problem with Assassin's Creed Shadows, disrespecting Japanese culture. They call us grifters if we have any kind of thought that's outside the echo chamber. Nobody's sending hate except the people that claim to be tolerant. And they're not. They said, we are past the point of feigning ignorance. It's clearly malice now. You don't get to insult your customer base time and time again and expect them to continue buying and playing your products. And it's not this small team of developers that are at fault. We know this. It's the higher ups that are making the decisions who are to blame, and they do indeed need to be taught a lesson. And that lesson is that the customer is king. A fucking men. And they just go on to say there's no modern audience and that all these people are just caught between trying to decide to push narratives or make good games. This is a really good banger comment. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on their Steam page, and it speaks the fucking truth. Now, you can see apparently they're banning people on Steam for asking questions within the rules, making claims within the rules, and just not believing them. All I said was I think he's lying about removing all SBI stuff and why I believe it. So apparently they're banning people from the community hub. So are they really sorry? Is this a moderator that's going rogue? What's exactly going with this? So this is not a good look if they're trying to say that they're not about Sweet Baby Inc. and stuff. Is this damage control? Is this community managers that are just banhammer hungry? It reminds me a lot of like the Helldivers 2 situation when they started banning people that were making fun of furry memes on the fucking Discord. Ridiculous. And you can see they're just going on about it. If you look on Twitter, the stuff is here. They're literally censoring people that are, I guess, criticizing it. And they're labeling it as trolls and saying, like literally Penta right here says this is not a moderation free zone. If you break the rules, don't listen to warnings and continue with the pre-warned behavior, we still have to do our job. Making up lies and creating conspiracy theories is not the way here. So they don't even want to hear people speculate or talk about it. Obviously, that's how it goes, guys, with these things. It's an echo chamber. They don't want mean words. They don't want backlash. The game is actually doing terrible. At the time of the screenshot right here, there was literally 12 players playing the game and 21 at a 24-hour peak. That is bad. 664 tops. This game is dead. There's no way that this studio is going to recoup it. And unfortunately, it's because the stench of Sweet Baby Inc. is just way too goddamn much. So let me know your thoughts, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.